Hello and welcome to the Impact Dynamics podcast.
Oh, my name is Rusty.
My name is Josh.
I forgot that we do this part of the show.
We do an intro.
It's been too long, but we're going to talk about SHOT Show in Vegas.
We are.
Yeah,
let's do
let's
it.
go, Josh. Match director, mate. Match director. Hello, Andy.
Hooray!
Hooray. Hope that's enough.
We need your vote.
Now we've caught up to where we are on the podcast.
All right, go on back.
Roll the outro. That's the end of the intro, isn't it?
It is the end of the intro. We are in now.
All right, this is the show. Okay, cool. Josh, a little bit different show tonight.
It is.
A little bit different. First up, you're sitting there.
I know. I'm looking into the cameras. It's weird.
This is weird. And secondly, Andy's not here.
No.
We did tease about Plushie joining the show. He's not here.
No.
Really, this is not the podcast is not back yet.
No, not yet. We just
Not yet. But
thought we'd fill in with some things though, because a lot's happened.
a lot has happened. A lot is due to happen. And so here we are to talk about, not just got back from Vegas. We'll talk about why it's taking a little while to make this. But we thought we'd discuss some stuff, talk about it. It's first time for you. And so this is it. We've got a couple of questions and we're monitoring the conversation tonight. So if you got questions about how SHOT Show was and what Vegas was like and all that sort of gear, leave in the comments on YouTube or Facebook and we will keep up with it.
Yep.
So, yeah. Josh,
SHOT Show.
first time to SHOT Show for you, first time to Vegas for you, and also first time leaving Australia for you.
It was. Just got all of them out of the way and drive straight into Vegas.
Get everything done in one go.
Get it all out of the way.
Now, I have notes here. Maybe just before we do delve into that too deeply, a little bit about the show. It is going to be coming back probably mid to late March.
Yep.
A few changes, a little bit more planning, a little bit more, some more things going on. So look forward to that. We're probably about a bit over a month away, I guess, from coming back. So bear with us while we get there.
Yep, it is coming.
Plushie and Andy's going to be away less, which is nice. And Plushie and Andy and myself and Josh are, I believe we're going go-karting to make some plans for.
I really hope we are. It has to happen now. It's
been
said and it's been discussed.
That's
we
exactly
have to
right.
go go-karting.
Very good. Now I'm just going to get into my notes that I saved about what we did. But yeah,
This is like a quick little look into the new podcast. Like there's notes and stuff.
Oh no, we'll be more planned than me actually reading off my phone. So
No, but this is more planned than before though.
this is true. Josh, yes, first time overseas, first time, all those sort of things. Please tell us, how did you love the experience of traveling to the US?
I guess getting over there it was easier than I thought. Like we breezed through most of the things apart from them searching my bag for batteries and microphone every single time.
Not just yours.
Not just yours. Well, we kind of smashed camera gear in every bag just in case we didn't get suitcases there.
Yeah, because that has happened previously. You get there and you're like, oh, my good stuff is in the bag.
Yep.
Yeah, that's problematic.
Yeah,
Yes.
but no, we breezed on through, got through, customs and all that. That was a bit that I was like, never been overseas.
Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking when you don't know what to expect. Yeah.
Yeah, especially, you rock up to US Customs and you're like, cool, let's see how this goes. And old mate's just like, I think it helped having all the paperwork and just going, hey, here's all the things we're doing. And he was like, cool,
yeah.
see ya.
Yes.
Breeze on through.
Having done that a few times, you print all the things out more than you need. And then they're like, hey, have you got this? And you're like, you open this little wallet of paper and you pull that out and they're like, okay, clearly you're organized. All right, off you
Yeah,
go.
you can just keep on walking.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was pretty cruisy through. And then we got to, leaving Melbourne was we had 2 hour delay. So we sat in the plane because you're on there for about 45 minutes getting ready and all that sort of gear for an international. Plus 2 hours waiting for bags.
It was longer than 45 minutes.
Yeah. It was 2 hours plus.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was really fun when we got to San Francisco.
It was.
Because I remember looking at my watch when we just got in line for customs and going, this is not a lot of time to get through and connect the flight.
Yeah. So we missed our connecting flight.
We did.
Yes. So we got rebooked for another flight 12 hours later.
Yeah.
But also got offered to go on the standby list for 2 other flights.
I learned one thing very quickly.
Standby lists
are not fun.
Yeah, useless. So, yeah, we waited around and false hope twice, and then we're like, let's get out of here. So we left. We stayed close to the
We had
airport.
about a 4-hour window.
We did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, it was that awkward amount of time where we couldn't actually go and really see anything in San Francisco.
no.
Like everything was sort of closed. Like if it was a few hours earlier, like, you know, we'd have gone
Hindsight,
to
we would've-
Apple and seen the bridge and all the rest of it. But
yeah. Hindsight, we would have left it when we got there, which was about 11:30 in the morning, and our flight was 11 o'clock that night.
yeah.
We would have just gone, all right, we are going to, I don't know, get a car for like 4 hours.
We're going to go do some tourist things.
Yeah, let's go.
Embrace it.
But we were really keen to get to Vegas. So, yeah, failed that option. So we went to a cocktail bar that didn't serve any cocktails.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yes, proper definition of
That was especially fun when
dive
you
bar.
walk up and you're like, cool, can we please see your cocktail menu? And the lady goes, the what? You're like, espresso martinis? And she's like, what? We just serve normal drinks. Cool.
yeah. And
All
it
the
had
cocktails.
Cocktails on the front of the building. But anyway, that's,
did.
That's right. And then we went to got pancakes. Josh had his first
the-
experience at IHOP
Yep.
and had pancakes.
Hit up those big places that you see and the names that you know.
Neither of us finished our serves.
No.
Got back on the plane, flew into Vegas, got there about 1 in the morning,
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And
I will say though,
Yeah.
that plane flight going from San Francisco to Vegas wasn't actually that bad. And I think that was because of the second place we went to get some drinks.
Oh, we did go
ordered
to
a
I forgot
scotch
that.
on the rocks, thinking, cool, you know, it's going to be like what you've got.
We found this is coffee, but
Well, but
Artichoke Joe's
Yes.
Casino is
Casino,
where we went
that's
to
the
in
one.
San Francisco. If you do happen to find yourself in San Francisco with an airport layover, don't leave the airport because the Irish coffees are way too expensive.
Yep.
Go down to Artichoke Joe's for $7. You were getting, I was getting Irish whiskies. No,
You were?
Irish whiskies. Irish coffees.
coffees.
That's the one with whiskey in them for $7. That was pretty good.
yeah, I just went straight for I'm going to have a scotch on the rocks, but expecting about that level of scotch in there,
This, which is like what, a finger?
which is about
Maybe 2
a
fingers? Yeah.
standard shot.
Yep, not in America.
No, it was about the glass full of scotch.
It
So
was.
yeah, that plane trip was really fun.
Very smooth. Landed in Vegas, checked into our room, which is the Flamingo.
Yep,
How'd you like the Flamingo?
it was okay.
It was okay.
Stayed in worse places, stayed in better places.
True. Probably a fair summary of the Flamingo. And then we went and met a friend of mine who had got to Vegas that day earlier to hang out with us to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah,
And then we stood her up for 12 hours. Yeah, whoops. So anyway, caught up with her briefly. She gave me this. This is going to be going onto the wall behind us of memorabilia. This is a Vancouver
Vancouver key.
ring key thing. So we're going to put that up on the wall there.
There's a nice little like spot already ready for it. That's convenient.
It's backwards.
You got to have it right in the right way.
There we go.
There we go.
That works better. So we've got. We did that, and then I think I showed you sort of like we walked out of Flamingo, looked that way for 5 minutes, and then walked the other way for 5 minutes, and went, all right, that's the Strip.
Yep.
What was your take on that?
There was a lot going on. It was probably a little bit more overwhelming to
2
start
a.m. on a
with
Sunday morning,
because had just come off of what were we at that point?
about 39
hours worth of travel time.
Yeah,
And then
Yep.
you get into Vegas and you look around, you're like, it feels like it's about 10 o'clock, but it's about 2 a.m.
okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
And everything was, you have this, you're going overseas, you've seen Vegas in movies, all the rest of it. You have this, had this idea in my head of what it would be and got there. And the idea wasn't too far off what I had in my mind. The scale was very far off.
It is.
Rocking up and going, oh, yeah, everything's really big here.
And I think one of the things that I experienced first time I went there was how far away everything is. So like many of the casinos are set back a long way from the road, far more than you think they will be.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess it is the scale of casino, and you walk through one and sort of you're walking, you keep on walking, and it's, 5 minutes to get through a couple of these casinos, and you're like, oh, this is a solid walk.
Yeah. So we went back to bed, and then I believe the next day.
Actually, before we jump, the thing that really threw me from that is we
yes.
walked into the Venetian.
Did we that night?
We did on that night.
Oh, we did. We went through the
Because that was about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
All of the jet lag, all of the things, and then you go through the Venetian and it feels like it's just about to turn into nighttime again. The temperature is perfect.
Yep.
It's twilight time. Water's all there. You're in Venice. And you've just, that was very, very bizarre.
And there's the roof that they've got in a lot of these casinos there. It's sort of there's enough light that it does feel like twilight. It's not bright. It's not dark. It's enough to sort of see what's going on, but it's always got that feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of spots through there where it's not a gimmicky feel. Like the lighting is actually pretty well done. Like
lighting is
very well
done.
done.
Yep, absolutely. So very good. Well, we then crashed out, and I believe we slept through at about 1 o'clock the next day,
Yeah, there was a lot of sleep.
which was good. Which was only about 7 hours actually. I think by the time we got to bed.
Yeah, that's about right, actually.
So I got up, and then I believe we actually went. We did the entire. We did nearly the entire strip. So for those who know, Flamingo is about halfway along the strip, ballpark, and we walked all the way down south to Mandalay Bay. And
that wasn't at night time.
no, this is during the day. The next
During
day.
the- during the day.
This is Sunday,
Yeah.
and then we walked. Did we walk or we monorailed?
No, we walked. We
We walked all the way back up the other side to Resorts World, which is sort of there's two casinos or depending. That's pretty much the top of the strip. There's Circus, which is not worth going to. Stay there, and then there's another one a bit further along Stratosphere as well. And went to Resorts World, and you got to experience a sports bar.
I did.
Yep, how was
Yep.
that?
It
Proper
was,
traditional American sports bar.
that was about what I was expecting.
We had no idea what was going on. It was
No.
football, so
There was a group next to us that were very into it though.
I went over to them like, who should we be following? Like so we barracked for whatever team they were going, and they won. So that was convenient.
Right, Dave? It's because we were there and we worked for them. That's why.
It's probably on. So that was good, and then
That was a pretty laid back kind of day.
That's right. Then we got the word from Danny Delta that they were going to go and have cigars. And there's only one place that would be, which is Monte Cristo in Caesars. So we went down there and had cigars with Danny and Steve, I believe it was, in the cigar bar.
Yeah. That was a good way to sort of finish off the
And I reckon about 10
Second day.
o'clock we went to bed.
Yeah. We crashed a bit earlier that night.
Very, very, very early. So very good. Hello to everyone in the comments. We are checking it out. We're looking for any questions pertaining to the trip because we do have much to discuss. There is apparently Ignition custom sticker sitting here somewhere in this room. I would have thought there'd be a couple, to be honest, but
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not everywhere.
disappointed.
Interesting.
All right, which brings us on to Monday, which is the first day before the show. But
Range
it's part of
day.
the day is range day for media and such. So we got invited to range day. We got on the bus relatively early, 8:30 thereabouts, and went to range day. And Josh, how was range day for you?
Windy.
When you got there, let's not give away all the secrets.
When we got there, it was big.
Were you excited?
I was super keen for it, and it was when we were coming in down the hill
Yep.
off the bus, looking out over the range,
Yep, you're
and
just like,
seeing the
"This
scale of
keeps
the
going."
range. Yeah,
Yeah.
Look, I think because we looked down one side and was like, oh wow, that's a lot of range, but then it actually keeps going this way, and then it keeps going this way, and you go,
Yep.
oh, okay,
Yep.
yeah,
It keeps on going. So, range day was great, and we started with a good plan. We went, all right, we'll go down to the left-hand side of the range, and there wasn't too much because we got there relatively early. There wasn't too many people and too many lines because that's one of the things that can happen if you get to range day later. There's like 15 people waiting to shoot this
Everyone
gun, or
is
20,
there.
yeah. So we started on one stand, then sort of shot that gun, moved to the next stand, shot that gun, moved to the next stand, shot a couple there, and then the wind picked up.
yeah.
And this was wind that was problematic, to say the least.
It wasn't just breezy, like it was
No.
properly windy.
It was very uncomfortable wind. I think I had a couple of jackets on. You probably had not. I think we
I
both
didn't
were
have
cold.
enough.
No. We did not bring the heated jackets, as Rosie has asked.
I would have loved to if we had the weight for it.
Yeah. We if we didn't have to batteries and all those sort of challenges, we didn't have any room to take anything. Didn't have much room to bring anything back, to be honest.
And to be fair, it would have been for one day. So it only would have been for range day.
As it turns out, it would have been for 3 hours because that's all we survived. After we did about six of the tents, we're like, we should be a little bit more choosy with which ones we go to. So we went to like the key ones that we knew we had to go to. And so went and saw Bagara, shot their new guns. Went and saw, who else did we went and saw Aim Point, did some stuff with them.
Yep.
Went and saw the Leapers guys. Went and saw Precise as guys make some actions.
The action, yep.
Yeah, shot that out. We still were hitting targets though. That wind was full on but consistent.
Yeah. I was surprised hitting it because was that 800 yards or 900 yards?
It was beyond 900 meters.
Yeah.
It was a good sort of decent distance. So
yeah, I was very surprised by that. Just on and you're like, that's actually hitting the target.
And you just keep holding and go bang, bang, bang. So that was good. And then
that was actually the furthest that I've shot.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, because I've only ever shot on our ranges at 500 meters.
980 or something like those lines. It was,
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Well done.
Ticked off a lot of firsts that trip.
Did you only just realise that now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Then we went and had some lunch and found somewhere inside we could actually sit, in a tent.
That was such a relief.
That was the best
Get
part
out
of
of the wind.
And then we're like, all right, we checked all the other stalls and we're like, oh yeah, there's nothing here we have to get. We're pretty done. But there is Segways over there running 4x4.
That was a must.
That was a must.
Yeah, as soon as that was spotted, it was yes. 100%.
And so we're there in line, and you went up first, and you got to drive, but then they had someone with you, so I guess you didn't steal the cart or crash it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, good chance for you. And so Josh is, for those who know our dynamic, Josh is the much better racer, much better driver than I am.
I actively have interest and passion in it. I have a racing sim sitting in this room.
Yeah. So, and just generally better talent. And so Josh went out, and whoever you were with were a bit more conservative.
He was very conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so these things could handle well. I got in, and I was a bit more tentative, and I came out this like little bump, and I'm like, okay, we'll crawl up to it and go over it a little bit. And the guy's like, dude, you can just like floor it. I'm like, really? He's like, this thing is rock solid. I'm like, okay. So I put more down. I'm like, oh, this thing is rock solid. And then we've come up to this little climb you do, relatively minor climb. You get to the other side and it drops.
You can't actually see the bottom.
Yeah. And he's like, yep, just go. I'm like, properly go? He's like, yeah, just like foot down. I'm like, okay, dude. Put my foot to about 25% and then just fell down. Fell down this cliff. And then I'm like, started getting feel for it. I'm like, oh, you can actually go flat out on these things. Then we came up to one area that you weren't taken to.
I didn't get to go.
Which is this nearly vertical climb. And the guy, I'm looking at it and he's like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, this thing will actually go up that? And he's like, yeah, just make sure your foot's flat.
Yeah.
All right, man, you're in control.
Yeah,
Floored it, and we just shot straight up this thing. I'm like, I need one of these.
Yeah, I realized when I got back, because I'd watched people do it and went, oh, that looks like fun. And then got back and saw you, because you took a lot longer than I did.
I was behind you.
Sitting there going.
Because there was only one cart, there was two carts at a time rotating, so I'd left a few minutes behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I did take a bit longer, and then I came back. I'm like, oh, did you got that vertical thing? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
You were very disappointed. So we raced those and then went, let's go.
Yeah.
We're done here.
And to be fair, hindsight, that was a very smart decision.
We got on the
as
bus.
we got on the bus, it started bucketing down.
It did. We got on the bus and then very quickly after we got on the bus, a lot of people got on the bus and the bus got full and they stopped letting people on. And then it started raining.
Yeah.
We went timed that fantastic.
Smart call.
But you got to shoot full auto for the first time as well.
I did. That was fun.
That was
also
fantastic.
first AR. That was pretty cool.
Yep. And that was good. And then we got back to the Flamingo, and then it was going to be the NRL meetup that night at the Hofbrauhaus, the German pub, which is a pretty traditional location to do this on the Monday night. And so we got ourselves an Uber down there, got in at the time it was meant to start, or a couple of minutes early, waited, and there's a busy place.
It was very busy walking in there and you're sitting there waiting to get actually in.
So we sort of knew a guy that went in, so we sort of followed him in, got sat at this table. I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't really know anyone there. I'm like, okay, this is normally a pretty big thing. We got like 2 tables that I think are connected here. Okay, all right. Well, we sat there, and then sitting there, and then a couple more people got shown to our table, and it was Gavin from Ultimate Reloader, who we hung out with last year at the same place.
Yeah, right.
So he sat down in front of me, and his offsider sat down in front of you, Tyler, and we're like, oh, great to see you guys. And I think we talked for the next sort of hour and a half while we were waiting for everyone else to rock up. And, like Travis.
But then people didn't sort of
Travis
trickle
and
through.
Tyler from NRL were like, well, and Janae were like, these guys not even, are they going to get to their event or what's going on here?
Yeah.
So we ordered food, had some food, all that sort of gear, went out to the toilet. And the toilet's sort of out the back. And as I came back from there, I saw a couple of guys I knew outside, out the back. I'm like, oh, hang on. Then started seeing more people I knew.
Yeah.
The entire half the back area was actually where the party was. So I'm like, oh, we've missed this for the last couple of hours.
Yeah.
Oh, well. So we went out there and just came back.
We were there for the next hour and a bit.
Oh, yeah, and then some. Gavin's like, all right, we're going to go. And we I think we had decided at that point we were both staying at Flamingo, so we're going to go back together. And he then started talking to people, and then I started talking to people, and then we all started talking to people. And we were there for a while, which was good fun. And then how much are we allowed to say the next bit? Gavin likes walking.
He does.
And is immune to the cold.
Yeah.
Completely. And we're like, oh, we'll get an Uber back. He's like, nah, it's not that far. We'll walk. It's about a 40-minute walk.
Yeah, it was. I remember on the drive and then thinking, like, we can walk that back.
I said it on the way on the drive. I'm like, this is just outside of like comfortable walking distance.
Yeah.
Not for Gavin. So he decided we were walking back, but we were going to stop somewhere for a drink on the way back. Mm-hmm. So there wasn't too many places, but we found Ellis Island, which we went to many years ago. It's a karaoke bar. So we sat there and met some British airmen and met some other people. And I met someone who makes hot sauce.
Yep.
So I ended up getting some samples of hot sauce from them later.
We met some fellow Aussies.
Did meet some Australians, and anyway, it was a fun night. But unfortunately, none of us got to do karaoke. The list was full. Otherwise, I'm sure.
Oh,
we would
no.
have done something. Well, maybe you not, but anyway. And then that was Monday night, mate. So big first actual night out in Vegas. How'd you go with that?
It was fun. I was good that night. That was great.
Okay, we talk about it from there.
Yeah, no, we got to the karaoke bar and it was a real good place.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
Yeah, got back. That day was fun.
Yeah, apart from the quality of gin we had to drink. But anyway, that's...
Yeah, but the quantity of gin was strong.
Well, we found out Gavin and Tyler were quite happy to drink gin.
Yep.
Yeah, they were not big beer drinkers, so I think we had one beer, except you. And,
I did not have a beer.
And yeah. Anyway, so that was the lead up to getting into it all. Day one of the show, Josh arrives, and you had armed yourself with some sort of a belt contraption, shoulder harness thing, and I could not for the entire week walk next to you because you had the big video rig on one side and your photo rig with a decent lens on the other side.
It was my COVID safe strap.
Yeah, it was safe. And so you had cameras on hips, basically.
I did.
And you were actually quite wide. You were a wide load. Normally you were far from that. And so most of the laneways, we could not walk side by side because you were too big.
Yep.
which was amusing.
But it was very handy though.
So we've walked through out of our casino in through the link up through the back, and you end up into this place, Caesars Forum, which is where one of the halls for the show. We've walked into the show. What have you thought?
This is much bigger than I thought for a convention center. But walking into that first room and actually looking all the way down and then looking all the way down the other way looking down. I think I looked down the shorter side first.
Yep.
Was like, oh yeah, and then looked down the further side and went, oh, oh, okay,
yeah, and that's one of the smaller holes.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that morning, first up, one of the videos we did was with the guys from Mantis. I know that was day two. We'll come back to that because I want to speak about how you were feeling. Day one of the show, how were you feeling?
I I was starting to feel a little bit average.
Yep.
And I'd put that down to, all
It's
right,
a decent night the night before.
it was a decent night the night before. The first day traveling over, I didn't sleep on the plane. So there's, I was nearly awake for 48 hours. That takes a toll. All right.
Yep.
I'll have a cruisy day today, have a quiet night, and then sleep it off. That's where my head was
was the
at coming
plan.
in that day.
Cool. So we walked around the show. It was great. We had a couple of meetings that particular day. It was big, and I think you got a real perspective once we went into the main hall, and you're like, oh wow, this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there was the first realization, and then going into the second one, that's where it really hit of going, okay, this is that big, and this is double story.
Yes, we didn't get beyond that particular day. Now we spent a lot of time. We won't go into huge amounts on the products because we did videos, breakdown videos on the products and all that sort of stuff. We did a review after each day, and so that if you guys want to find that information, we have all that there. But a couple of key products that day. We spent a lot of time with MDT.
Yes.
They're actually one of the first ones we started filming with. The Elite chassis.
Their new Elite chassis looks really cool.
Yep, it was cool. What else do we see? The new bipod.
The electronic trigger.
I was going to get to that. Yeah, the electronic trigger. Very
They
interesting.
had another new chassis as well, didn't they?
They had another like a stock sort of chassis.
Yeah, more
sort
of a stock
deal. They had a shot timer / training aid. And there was a couple other video. We asked them if they would let us do a wrap up at the end of the day in their store, which they did, which was
They were
very
nice
kind
enough
of
to
them.
do that.
We got to borrow their conference room and finish the day out. And even Josh from Canada, or they're all mostly from Canada. Josh came and joined us for the show, and then Martin even ended up in there.
He joined us for the last bit of it.
Talked about a few things with him, so that was really good. They're doing some killer stuff. Their booth has grown so much, and they're very very kind to us, very good to us, and looked after and spent some time with us. The electronic trigger was one of the more interesting things of the show. I think I might come back to that towards the end. Cool. The other news that had hit the day before or sort of overnight was that Naya had bought Barrett. And that got announced on that Monday of range day. That was big news.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about that, but just from the reactions of everyone to that, you could tell that it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and there was a lot of concern from the US, and it was interesting. But we went over to the stand and caught up with a couple of the guys from Naya, and had a bit of a chat to them about it, and they were super. I think I'm just going to finish this bottle.
Yeah, may as well. All of it.
Pouring the jumping goat from New Zealand. They were very excited, and they had lots of questions and challenges, but I think that'll be a good thing for them in the long run. A bunch of stuff from Burris as well. We spent a bit of time there. We actually did our day 2 wrap up from there, but they had some cool stuff also.
That Veracity was cool.
Yep.
Very different concept. I like it.
Yeah, we did a bunch of videos that day, we sort of sussed the place out. We had a few more meetings that day, and that was it. And then it was that the night we went to Strip Burger and froze our arse off.
I believe it was.
I reckon that was Tuesday night. So some point, one of the guys, Marcus, who is involved with the Precision Rifle podcast and their sort of media arm, he invited us to go out to dinner with a couple of guys, including John from 8541 Tactical, who we had that same dinner at that same place 4 years ago or something. And I don't remember it being as cold as it was.
Yeah, it was very cold this time around.
It was freezing cold, and the service was not good.
No, service is pretty average.
The drinks were great. They're alcoholic milkshakes.
I didn't have the milkshake, but I can't remember what I had.
You did
actually.
have a pretty amazing drink, and it looked rad. And then we had a familiar face pop up. BJ joined us as well. So it was great to see him. He'd moved to the US from Strike Without Warning and was over there and, doing shot show things.
Yeah. He seems like he's loving it over there too, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was good to have him come and join us and have a bit of a chat for a little while. So that was good. That was a good night, but freezing cold.
Yeah, we even had a heater sitting behind us. It's just because it was a little bit breezy that night. So you never just had that nice constant warmth.
Well, later that night I went to the toilet, and the toilet is actually inside another restaurant that's adjacent to it.
Yeah.
And I walked in there and I'm like, oh, this is so much nicer. Except we didn't go there because of you Well, actually, because John and Marcus chose that place, but it was Mexican, and your tolerance with hot food is
I would have had a wrap. Just the wrap.
just the
Nothing
wrap,
in it.
nothing. That with lettuce, I know probably this lettuce is too spicy for you. Good. All right. So that was day one of the show. Day two of the show, we hit it pretty hard. The show
That was a big day.
that was a big day. It turned out to be a really big day, but more on that later. We went to Mantis. I think we might have started our day with those guys.
We did start at
They do
Mantis.
some training stuff. So you and I had a dry fire competition, which you won. You were definitely the best pistol shooter.
Yeah, I was amazed at that.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not very good at it. I know that. We caught up with the Forster guys. And looked at their new Excel prototype, which was pretty rad to do. And they gave us some other news, but we'll save that for a little while. Spent some time with Pulsar. Oh, actually, that might have been another day. But anyway, we spent some time with Pulsar, Bagara, and Right On Optics. And the guys at Horace as well.
Yeah, we got around a bit.
Oh, she went to Night Force and filmed.
We got to watch them beat a scope.
We did. You got to watch them beat up a scope. So that video's on Scoped Out, actually, if you want to go see how Night Force do their testing on their scopes.
Yeah.
That was there. You commented about when the guy hit for the first time, you hadn't seen this before.
No, yeah, first time seeing it and seeing that. Like, you think of doing a test that, they're going to sit there and be a bit gentler. But yeah, it was that first hit that I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, you actually test your scopes.
Yeah, we met Matt from Demo Ranch briefly.
Yep.
Very briefly, got a photo with him.
Yep, they were just destroying rifles and stuff there too.
They
we were getting a photo, rifles are bumped over that they were playing with.
They were.
Lives up to the name, Demolition Ranch.
Correct. And the cameraman gave you a selfie on his phone, on your phone. That
He
you
did.
gave him without knowing that.
That's the only reason I wanted to get a photo, just for his selfie.
That's all right. So it was pretty rad day. Got lots and lots of videos done. That was the main day for content.
Yeah. We went and got some stuff with Beretta as well.
We did, all that sort of stuff. And then spent the end of the day at Burris. They were kind enough to, again, lend us some area of their stand. And we were able to do our wrap-up. And even Sky, who's the sort of the Burris international export guy, and a PRS shooter, came and joined us and talk about some stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really good to have him involved.
I remember that one because that was the day that we had a monopod, not a tripod, and they didn't have any tripods spare. So that was me trying to hold it and be in the same shot at the same time doing the wrap-up.
The camera angle was interesting. The other thing that we did that particular day, or did more of that day, and we did for the next couple of days, was we took some Vegemite. So there's a video up, and it'll be linked somewhere on the final version of this.
It is a great video.
It is a good video. We got a bunch of Americans to try Vegemite.
Yeah.
Quite amusing. I think someone summed it up in the comments, but when Gavin from Ultimate Reloader pulled out, I'm like, I've said to him, because I didn't tell him what was coming. I'm like, have you got 2 minutes? We'll do a quick video. And he's like, okay. And then on camera, I'm like, so have you heard of Vegemite? And he's like, oh no. Like he instantly knew what.
I think my favourite was John's reaction from 45, is it 45? 85-41 tactical.
80. Oh, man. I've said it too many times.
All the numbers. Where it was, I've heard of Vegemite before, and it was like, oh, come on, you got to try it again. And it was like, oh.
They're good. They're good people. They put up with it. Even actually, my favourite I think was Jake. So Sam Millard from Panhandle Precision, his son Jake, very very quiet guy, very quiet. And got those two guys on camera. Sam's happy to try it. He's like, oh, that was really good. I'm like, oh, you want to try it? He's like, nope.
Yep.
And eventually, I think
I like how it was after Sam tried it. It was then
his dad tried it, and then his dad put a bit of pressure on him. I put a bit.
And it's just that like, oh, we're actually recording. Okay.
And he did it. Yeah. So good on him. That was good. And then yes, the Vegemite was good. We I don't know. We got about 12, 15 people do that. So it was great. There's some great reactions, especially from Burris. They loved it. And then at this stage, vibe check with you, man. How are you feeling? Because your voice in that Mantis video is on its way out.
Yeah. That day took a bit of a turn down. That was the day that I was like, oh, something's not quite right here.
Yeah. Things are not how they should be.
Yep. So I think I had opted, I believe you went out that night and I had opted to stay back. So I was like, all right, I need to have a quiet night and let myself recover.
Well, we had dinner booked with the Short Action Precision guys.
That's right.
Yeah. And so I've done that sort of every year with Rich. from Short Action Precision. This year, for the first time, I actually met the other guys connected to that business who I've been dealing with for 5, 6 years, 7 years, and never actually met. One of them, these guys are the sort of the founders. And so, had dinner with those guys. Went to the German club. I think we had a few other PRS shooters and connection guys catch up with us, and then we made our way. A couple of those guys went to the Cry Party, which is one of the big parties that happens through the week, and I went to Circle Bar. Circle Bar is like the bar that everyone goes to at night, and it is busy all the way through to, as I found out, 6 a.m, which I was there till. So spent some time. I had met Frank Galley, but spent some time with him. Got some very interesting photos. I'm sure they're probably showing up now on the final version of this. Frank and a bunch of other crew, and had some really good conversations with people. Met some fantastic people. That's SHOT Show with all the bits and pieces on display is good, but actually some of those cool discussions happen around the bars and dinner and all that sort of stuff. As everyone knows, it's the networking sort of element that's really important. So, I was there very late, and then the guys from the Cry Party rocked up. Rich came back, and a few other guys, and we were there way too late, way too late. And then on the way back to the Flamingo, I walked past a few guys and said, "Oh yeah, big night." They're like, "No, we're on the way to the show." Oh, okay, it's that time of the morning.
The opposites.
And so we were a little bit. You weren't well, and I wasn't good. Self-inflicted tired, to put it politely. And so we actually covered a lot of ground on Thursday, a lot of conversations, but didn't film much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Did we film anything? B-roll. I think
we got a couple of B-roll.
Yeah.
But I think we were downstairs and sort of...
Downstairs is a different feel. It's not the big stands. There's lots of little stands. So you've got lots of businesses to look at and walk past and all that sort of stuff. So it was good. But we did hook up a number of videos to do the following day.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Thursday, it was great to... we went to Accutac, saw their new Hydro Pod.
Yes.
That was
very cool.
I don't know what the name is going to be, but I think we've dubbed it the Hydro Pod.
It just should be the Hydro Pod.
It should be. It's hydraulic.
It's the name.
So that's really, really good. There's video. Is that video up on Scoped Out sometime soon?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, on the Scoped Out YouTube channel. That'll be up there. And you were really interested in the Rimex.
I was having a good... Zemet Arms.
And neither of us can say that correctly. But
yeah.
That's all right.
Zemon Arms?
Who knows? No. Who knows? Why not?
Zimmets.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They had a new chassis that they're putting together, or it's stock chassis hybrid thing. It reminded me of a J. Allen, actually.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. Look, it was a nice little hybrid with your aluminium frame, but your wood just scattered around there. It was nice.
We did run into some other guys, some Australians, actually, from a company called Virtual Shot.
This is a product that I actually want to purchase.
Well. Stand by, because we have one coming in.
Ooh, do we?
To play with, yes. So this is a device that you attach to your phone, and hang on, let me get this right. Yeah, you attach to your phone, and it's a little device that turns basically into a scope, looking at a part of your phone.
You've got a couple mounts. I believe you can mount it up to your existing scope, or you can mount it directly to a Picatinny rail.
Yep.
You've got options.
Details were sketchy at the time for us.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced we remember. Anyway, I've spoken to them, but it is a dry firing simulator, and you can use a gun and dry fire, and actually it recognises drop and all this sort of gear and scenarios. You can make multiple targets and distances and all this sort of gear.
Yeah, you can pre-build a range into it, so you can actually place the targets where you want at certain distances and angles, and
So very, very interested in seeing how that develops. And so it was cool, because just walking up, and as we were, so they were reasonably busy, so we were standing in line waiting to chat to them. We're like, oh, Australian lads. All right, sounds good.
I'm glad we stopped there to actually have a look at the product.
That was really, really good to see. And so there was quite a few cool little ideas, and we got some contacts from that particular day. So it was a much more just talking day. I think we had a meeting or two that day. Sketchy on that Thursday.
Yeah, you definitely had a meeting, because I went and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go walk around and film some stuff, and then I went and sat down and didn't film anything.
Yeah, you were not well. And then I think we went back and we're like, all right, we're just going to have a quiet night. And I was like, yeah, we could end up. What's going to happen here? We're both like, I think we didn't film a wrap up that day because there wasn't any content to be able to sort of.
We didn't really have anything to wrap up.
Figure we do that on day 4, and we went back to the hotel, chipping away on laptops. So I think we were lying down, and it got to about 6 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, Josh, we need to get up and go do dinner or something on those lines, because if we don't, we're just going to stay here, and then it's going to get like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we're going to be stupidly hungry.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's not great because that breaks our sleep up. So get up, and we went down to one of my favorite. Well, was my favorite pizza place in Vegas. That's now changed. Was my favorite pizza place in Vegas, and they do the Chicago-style deep dish pizzas. So I remember going in there, and we sat down at the bar, and because they're like, oh, it's like a 40-minute wait for a table. We're like, we're good at the bar.
Yeah. I'll take the bar. That's fun.
Bar's great. And so I'm like, cool, we're just going to get a small pizza. And you're like, okay. I'm like, I don't even think we'll finish it.
Yeah.
Small pizza's about this big, probably the size of your face, I reckon. Maybe a touch bigger.
Probably. That's about accurate.
About right. But it's an inch and a half thick, maybe. It was thick. It was a proper.
It is like taking a pizza from here.
Yeah, full-size pizza and folding it all up.
But then you're taking 3 more pizzas and putting it on top.
Yeah, plus some more. Is very thick and full of cheese. And
I think I got 2 slices.
You got 2, I got 3, and we left one. So, full on. It was great. And then we went back, and then we actually had a decent sleep that night. Well, I had a decent sleep last night. Actually, I didn't sleep well any of the nights, but I had one of the better sleeps that night.
Yep. I don't think I did.
No, I know you did.
I have checked my sleeping pattern because of my watch since. It's not good. Not good.
So then Friday, last day of the show, I think we got in. We made sure we had a reasonable sleep, and we got in at.
I actually remember this day.
Yep.
Because I woke up Friday, and just literally my first thought when I woke up was just, all right, drugs. This is the last day. It's going to be a big day, and just give me all the drugs.
And it was a big day. We were sort of talking about maybe we could finish up reasonably early and get out of there by 12, which a lot of people do. Like, it gets quieter, and you would have noticed that after about 11, 12 o'clock.
I think we filmed somewhere. We did something where we were doing something for a period of time.
Yeah.
And then sort of you look up, you look around, you went, and all of a sudden it was okay. It got a lot quieter in here, and there's a lot less people. I'm not having to duck and weave.
So it was good in a couple of things. It was a much better day to film stuff, although you do get a bit of grumpy exhibitor syndrome where they're a bit over it. But we're Australians. We got some charm, like they put up with us. So we did some stuff with Zeiss, with Steiner, with Spur, with Manners, chatted with B&T, Akitac. We did a video with those guys. Yep. We did quite a bit.
KRG.
We did a few with KRG. It was good, and we actually I think we got to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The show shuts at 4. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, hey Josh, you realise there's 4 holes we haven't been into.
Yeah.
And so we're like, right, this is one we have to go into. So we went into that one. That's one with KRG and Manners and all those guys. It just we just had been so much elsewhere. Got in through there, did the hole. Stopped in, had a great chat with the guys at Manners. And speaking of which, the guys at Manners gave us this shirt here.
Oh, yes.
Which is Team Manners there. So we're going to do a competition with that in the coming weeks, because the only shirt they had left was a large. And
doesn't fit me.
I am not a large. You're not a large.
No.
And so we have a large T-shirt that we're going to give away. So stay tuned for that.
Perfect giveaway. Also, that Manners, that new stock they had, that was stupidly light.
Yeah, they got new hunting stock.
That was crazy.
If you need a light stock, that was, nearly threw that one in the air trying to pick it up. It was...
saw some cool stuff on Friday.
Friday was
was very cool.
We got into a lot of those sort of things that were hidden a bit further back, which was really, really good. And B&T gave us, this is one I'm going to put up on the wall behind us, one of their playing cards.
Yeah.
So that'll go up behind me there.
Yep.
And so we did that that was really good. Met Eric Cortina as well.
Yep.
Had a chat with him, who hadn't met before. And then we finished that hole. I'm like, hey, Josh, there's 3 holes left. And you were just like, and this is like half an hour to go on the show. And you're like,
yeah.
And I'm like, but we are only we're going to one stall in one of them. So I went over, and so this is CNH Precision Weapons, I think is the correct name. I should know. I've got some of their merch here. I just said CH. Okay.
So you were correct.
I was
Correct.
mostly correct. So this is a stand for a guy I know called Buck Holly, who was doing this. He used to shoot for MDT, and that's how I met him on the MDT stand. He did a video years ago for the ACC when it first came out. Yep. And we'd stayed in touch over that time and hadn't seen him, hadn't really properly talked to him for quite a while, and rocked up to his stand, and had seen that their business had blown up over the last sort of 5-6 years.
It was a solid stand. It was a very solid stand.
Much bigger stand than I thought it was going to be. And Buck was on the phone at the time, but he saw me and waved us down. He's like, oh, sit down. So they had couches, they had like a podcast area. And so I sat down, he finished up the phone call, and he's like, man, it's good to see you. We're doing a podcast. Let's go. I'm like, oh, we haven't bought the gear. No, we're doing a podcast. I'm like,
yeah,
all right, no worries. If you just want to
let's go.
Talk. Josh is like, thank goodness I'm out of here. He just sat down.
I went to the next booth over was, I think they'd gone home and there was couches there. So I was just like, oh, I went and sat in couches. It was great.
So we sat there for a while, and Buck gave us some wallets. Maybe we'll give some of these away actually.
Yeah, we've got a couple of those.
We do. So these are a cool little card wallet. Maybe we'll give a couple of those away, and chatted with him about it and told some stories and talked about Vegemite and all sorts of stuff, which was really good. And so anyway, checking back in with the comments, see if there's any questions. Rosie asked, didn't you guys beat up a scope back at Tonsley? I think that was in reference to Night Force beating up a scope. We did, but our aim was to break the scope, not anything else.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So that was a good video. You find that somewhere on TikTok, I think. We finished up there and we had to change hotels because we'd only booked till Friday because we were planning to go out into the wilderness somewhere for a couple of days. But because we got to Vegas fairly late and didn't really have the time to actually get a look around for you.
Yeah.
And there's a few things I wanted to do. We thought, no, we'll stay the next 2 nights in Vegas and fly out of there. So we moved across to where I stayed last year, which was the I've forgotten what it's called.
Harris,
that's right. Harris. So stayed at how much nicer was that room?
That was so much better.
About the same price.
We actually had like a view too, not just here's another hotel off to your side.
Yeah, and we didn't have a bathroom that was falling apart.
Yeah. But we didn't have a fridge either.
We didn't have a fridge, which became it's not a problem later.
No, I'd take the shower. The shower was worth it over the fridge.
Much better.
Yeah.
And I actually slept well at Harris. I did not sleep well at Flamingo.
Yeah.
I actually slept better.
I think I got one really good night's sleep there.
Oh, it's better than the Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yep. So top tip for travellers if you're trying to keep it relatively cheap, Harris. And it's a little bit closer to the show as well.
And if you're an F1 fan, you can see into the F1 pits.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
This is true. So we did a day 4 and day 3 wrap up in there. So that
if you watch that day 4 wrap up, you can see that my soul has left the building.
It is so true. You are done.
I actually I'd sent a message because I was like coughing, sniffling, all of the things. I remember watching back the first bit of that video and sending a message back for one of our editors. I was just like, can you please remove some of my sniffles?
It was good fun. And so then Saturday came and we had no specific commitment. So we were flying out Sunday night and we're like, all right, we'll just amuse ourselves today. So I think we went for a bit of a wander. Then we went down to Fremont Street.
See, that was a much better day. I think there was a little bit of the show's over, can relax a little bit. And that was like actually when that day went, cool. Like I'm actually feeling a bit better. Still drugged up, but a bit better.
So I went down to Fremont Street, which is like old Vegas. It's a great sort of setup.
That's always pumping. Seems like that's just always on the go.
Full on. So we went go-karting there.
Yeah.
That was
a rad little place.
That was very little, but it was all drift carts rather than race carts per se. So that was really good, and we ended up getting some extra time on the carts, and I think they thought, oh, these guys actually don't crash as much as most people do.
Yeah, I like that place. I kept my little paper because I did really well.
You did very well, absolutely. And then we went to a pizza place called Pizza Rock.
Yeah.
And this the guy that runs that or owns it or whatever, he's the chef there, was 13 times been the world's best pizza chef. This is now my new favorite
across
pizza
a
place.
variety of pizzas too.
And not just flavors, like in terms of styles.
Yes.
Like
I remember looking through the like Bible of pizzas because you just kept
I
scrolling
was
through
looking at you
pages.
thinking, did you forget the word menu?
No, it's
Bible's
just
more appropriate.
You know, you open up a menu and generally open up a menu.
Yeah, and you got
This
pizza
was-
and you got like, thin or
Yeah.
thick, and that's
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
This was you had the first like, and you're talking a menu that's this big, and then you flip over, and then you flip over again, and you're still on pizzas.
Still on different types of pizza. So
And actually, I did notice all the way through, it's award-winning pizza, award-winning pizza, award-winning pizza.
yeah. So, we give awards out on this podcast, so I wouldn't
Wow.
necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. Andy's won awards, so it's not.
Yeah,
it's not,
yeah, that's fair.
Too crazy. Award-winning pizza. It was great. I had a Detroit style. I'm sure there's a photo up of the pizzas we had. It was huge. They were crazy.
Yours looked like a lasagna.
It was
But it was a
bit
pizza.
thicker. So that was epic. So if you ever in Vegas, Pizza Rock, 100% have to do it.
Yeah.
So good. Then we
It
went
is
down
a
to,
must.
down to the Vegas sign, which is the traditional one. We looked at the line and we're like, we'll just get us some strategically taken photos, and we can Photoshop this into looking like no one was there.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that later.
Fix it in post.
Exactly right. Went
my
across
career
to
motto.
the pinball museum. That was a lot
That-
of fun. I
that
think we were
was
there
really
for like
good.
2 hours.
We were there for a sort of amount of time. And it's good too, because you just like
Cheap.
$10
Yeah.
and you're set for 2 hours.
Yeah, it was cheap, and all these old retro games, all these old pinball machines, some new ones as well. And yeah, it was dirt cheap, and yeah, many childhood memories. Like original Mario.
Yes.
Like machines and stuff like that. Yeah, Donkey Kong machines, the original Donkey
Yeah.
Kong machine.
I played that one.
Yeah,
That was
lots of-
good fun.
Lots of old. The one that was missing was Lethal Weapon pinball machine, but
Yeah.
all the other pinball machines I remember from the various shops around my place when I grew up. So that was really really good. And then we went to ice hockey and saw the Vegas Knights win.
Yes.
Yes,
Again, just because we were there, they
probably
won.
because of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing we did go to a Vegas show. We went to see Piff the Magic Dragon, the Flamingo. The day after we left the Flamingo.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny that one.
So look, mate, I've got a couple of questions for you. And then we did some filming the next day that we were meant to do on day one, but we did some filming the next day.
Yep.
And so I got a couple of questions for you. So Josh, some serious questions. How much did you gamble?
How much did I gamble?
Yeah, how much money did you lose while you were there gambling?
$0.00.
Yeah.
Because I didn't gamble. I did get very sick of like machines and stuff though.
It was
Slot machines.
We'd walk into another casino and be like, it's got a different roof, and it's the same.
Yep. I remember the first 2 days, because we
Mm-hmm.
pretty much covered all of the casinos and stuff.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You go through all of them and everyone's got their different vibe, their different theme, and you look at all the bits and you're like, this is really cool. It's really cool to see it all.
Yep.
And then by the end of it, you're walking through the same ones going, oh, there's just more machines and more machines and more machines. Because you've already looked at all the pretty things and all
Yep.
the the effort and stuff that's gone into it, and it's just put them away. Be done.
You've been accused of not being old enough to gamble.
Yeah, that's probably fair too.
That's probably fair. Didn't stop him drinking though.
I did
and
not.
I think I spent $8 because I was having a conversation with someone on the machine. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, may as well.
put something in there and play along with you. So that was pretty rad. So Josh, your takeaways, key things you saw that were of interest, products wise.
Products wise.
Yeah. Or Vegas wise, anything that really stood out to you.
One thing I actually remember I did get a look through this was the HoloSun. Their
Yes.
thermal overlay optic.
Yeah.
I think I was
Red
that
dot.
drugged up.
A
I
red-
forgot at the time. I actually remember looking through this.
A red dot thermal. Yeah.
Yeah, because
overlay.
I stopped at I did stop at HoloSun because I met someone there. And
Okay.
was like, hey, I know you. And then stopped and got some
That
photos.
wasn't the dude from Mr. Beast, was it?
No,
No, that wasn't.
no, that was somewhere else.
Okay.
This was Rachel B.
Rachel,
You'd
who
got a photo
I'd
with her.
met
You'd met earlier on.
the night before.
Yeah.
It's probably the one thing. We went to this circle bar and met a bunch of people, and there was a couple of guys there that I'd seen at the show, and they were like having all these people come up and take photos with them. And I'm not great on Instagram. I don't follow a lot of gun things. Just Instagram's not my platform. And I'm like, I went up, and this was about 4 or 5 different people. Went up to him like, hey man, so you're obviously well known, but I've got no idea who you are. Can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah.
And to their credit, they did. They're like, oh yeah, this is what I do. This is what I found them on there. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like 1.9 million followers. Okay, cool, man. Can we get a photo together? I guess. Like,
Yeah.
and did that. And That was So I met a bunch of people, but I didn't really have any context of who they were. One of them being Rachel, and then you caught up with her, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did meet that girl.
Yeah. And it's like, I followed her for ages.
Yeah. Met a dude who designed skateboards. That was rad.
Yeah.
It was good fun. So
Yeah. No, that HoloSun was really cool. One of the takeaways was, I guess, seeing actually big ELR rifles.
oh yeah, big.
I've seen the context of PRS stuff, but not jumping into the ELR game and actually. But when you stand next to one, especially chuck a big suppressor on it, you go, "That's a massive rifle."
Yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't lift it. Yeah,
No, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
Other takeaway was very much being involved in precision rifle stuff here, getting over to there and going, "Oh, this is a small world."
yes,
Like PRS is not a big world in the scheme of, I guess, SHOT Show and around the world. It's still not. It's not a majority thing.
no. That's interesting to hear. Yeah,
And that hit home very quickly.
Yeah, they're like there is a lot of black guns here.
Yeah.
A lot of ARs and that sort of gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that one pizza place, but I already banged on about that long enough. The electronic trigger. I think it was interesting to see comments on our socials about it. This is an interesting device, and I think that a lot of people were very quick to dismiss it. A lot of jokes about, but I can't shoot because my gun's flat and stuff like that. MDT are too sensible of a company that stuff isn't in their mind front and center. And spoke with Josh and Martin about it. I mean, it is one charge is nearly the life of a barrel type thing. Like,
And that was a prototype too. So there's still
a
lot of development to go.
People were like, oh, well, why would this be a thing? Like, what's the benefit of it? There is zero creep on this thing. Zero. Now, the prototype had, it wasn't the smoothest feel. It was good, like phenomenal compared to a normal trigger, but it wasn't the smoothest feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you feel that little bit that we think we can get rid of that part. We're not going to release it until we get that part gone.
Yeah.
And so you've got no shake it, like you got no movement in the thing. It cracks. And so there is some potential for it. Now, they said that, I mean, they talked about it last year. I remember them talking about it. I don't think they had it on display or anything, but they had it present.
In the works.
This time they had a display about it, but they said it's a year off at best. Like it's a while away. And so we will see. We will see. And it's interesting talking to them about it. Like they're not releasing it until it ticks all of these boxes. And one is like it can be serviced and it just drops out. It fits like it's the size of a normal trigger. Like it's not.
Yeah. You're not invading extra space and making all these extra hassles.
Yeah. So they're some of the goals. So it'll be very interesting. Like I'm not like, I'm going to go buy one next week. Like
I have seen though, because we posted a video where we talked about it, and there was a lot of people with the skeptical side. There was also a lot of feedback of people of like, I mean, sign me up. Like whenever I can get this, send me, like, let me get one.
Yeah. So I think it will be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like, that's going to be like in 10 years, everyone's running. Could be, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. But I think it's got some very interesting promise. So we will see how it goes. It's cool to see companies, even if it goes nowhere, it's cool to see companies pushing that. So that stood out to me as a very interesting thing there. And
I noticed someone, I think BJ mentioned the Spur Arca adapter on their chassis that you just slide forward and it has locking pins. I also noticed the KRG, the C4 had that as well.
Yep.
That looked really interesting. It's just that really quick, super secure locking. You know, you can either just slide it off or you just adjust it back and forward and it locks in. It's rock solid.
There's been a few attempts on that. I think the guys doing it now have sort of got it.
It seems
right.
like that's the way.
Absolutely. So there are some interesting things coming, interesting things out. A bunch of videos that we did on that.
The one we didn't get to see was the Voodoo Centerfire action. Yeah,
we went there on the first day and they're like, it's still getting Cerakoted. It should be here this afternoon. And we didn't get back there.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a few stands we did not get to. Was going to go check out Zero Comp, the new stuff from them, but it's a big show.
Yeah,
and
a lot going on.
We had lots going on, and we also not everything is all in the same hall, and so you're like, we can get to that one. Like the detour is half an hour to get to that one stand. because we're working through this haul today. So
Yeah.
it's not quite as easy. But anyway, cool. Anything else you got to bring up? I'm going to check my notes as well.
I mean, just in terms of cool things that I saw, the Falcor build that they had on display,
Yes,
that
did
looked
look
awesome.
pretty good.
That looked very good.
The gold-plated gun stand. There was an entire stand of guns that were all gold. That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's just some other things of seeing, like, the new Barris. That looked really cool with
That
the
Veracity?
just the Veracity PH, super smooth turrets, but showing you digitally inside of the display.
Yeah, that was a good setup.
That was cool.
I've seen
The Zeiss, the new Zeiss looks
that does look
much
good.
more refined.
Yes.
Looks like a lot of the features that people went, that's what it's missing the mark on.
On the S5.
They have corrected with the S3.
I would agree. That's going to come out and that's going to be a contender for it would be in your discussions. The S5 was nothing wrong with the S5 as a good optic. Optically, it was phenomenal.
It was crazy clear.
And a few other features of there were a little bit behind where the current market is. The S3, I believe, is up there. Up there in price as well, but it's up there. So, good to see. Good to see that refinement come through.
Yeah, it very much seems like it's Zeiss has stepped into the chat. They're here now with something a bit more serious of like, all right, come on.
Yeah, it's good. It is good to see. All right, Josh, I mean, we could go on for forever
we
about
probably could.
all the various things and bits and pieces that were done, but I think that it was a big week. Always is.
Yeah.
I came back and one of the reasons we alluded to, but I got back. You still suffered for another 3 or 4 or 5 days when you got back.
Yeah, I think
significantly.
Yeah.
I then suffered when I got back as well.
We seemed like we had
2 weeks.
we sort of had a bit of an opposite.
We sort of had shifts, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm still like my ears are all blocked up. The only reason it's actually better wearing these and listening to sound piped in than if I take them off. It feels still feels
we're
like
just
I'm
going
wearing
to
them.
see you walking around with headphones plugged into a microphone.
I think I will from now on. Yeah, that's worked better. So still recovering from it, but we wanted to get this done and dusted. So. Guys, hopefully that's been an interesting take. SHOT Show is a very unique event, given that it's a big gun show, but it's a trade show, so there's no retail sale. Actually, there was a few stalls outside that were retail sales. One of them was Black Rifle Coffee. Some of that sort of merch, sort of orientated stuff. First time they've done it this year.
Was it?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
Not had that before. It's you can't buy anything at SHOT basically. You can put orders in for big stuff, but so very interesting, unique show. And Vegas is a very unique city. I was actually looking back through the memories today, and I saw a post from Butters from when we got there, and it just went, "Wow, this is weird."
Yeah.
So a little bit different to Darwin. Anyway. Vegas SHOT Show all happened. We will be back with the Impact Dynamics podcast.
We will.
Sometime in March, so stay tuned.
It'll be a bit of a different look as well.
It will be a bit different look, different faces, or a different face.
Yeah.
You won't be here.
I won't be here.
you'll
I'll be tucked away
over
again.
there somewhere. Good.
Back in my corner.
That's good. Anyway, so Josh, thanks for doing this.
That's all right.
I'm out of jumping goats. So I'm going to have to find another goat.
Need some top-ups.
All right, we'll go do that, and we'll go, I don't know, go and start planning for next year.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in few months.
Sounds good. All right, cheers. See ya.